Diddy's son, King Combs, might have just crossed a dangerous line, one that could drag his family into deep, risky territory. From gang affiliations to reckless social media posts, the situation is heating up fast. Stick around, because this story gets darker. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment below. Christian Combs has always lived under the heavy shadow of his famous father. Born into wealth and luxury, one might assume he'd have little to worry about in terms of street life. But things started to take a bizarre turn when King Combs tried to claim a connection to a notorious Chicago gang, Gangster Disciples, a group with a violent reputation and a deep-seated presence in the streets. In a move that many are calling reckless, King Combs went public, throwing up GDK gang signs and even referencing the gang in a diss track aimed at none other than 50 Cent. It's one thing to make a few ill-advised claims in a song. It's another to openly align yourself with a group like the GDK, a gang that has been responsible for countless crimes, violence, and street wars in Chicago. The reality is that claiming a street identity without being rooted in the struggles of those who actually live, that life can lead to severe consequences. And King Combs is learning this the hard way. The situation escalated when King Combs released a track that many perceived as a clumsy attempt to gain credibility. The song, which aimed to flex his street ties, included lines about defending his family and calling out anyone who disrespected him. But what really raised eyebrows was his claim of having connections to the streets of Chicago, a place that is notorious for its gang activity, including the powerful Gangster Disciples. This led many to believe that King Combs was attempting to cultivate an image that didn't match his reality. And that's when things started to spiral. Things took a darker turn when a video surfaced, showing King Combs flashing gang signs and shouting GDK on camera. This was no minor slip-up. This was a clear, conscious move to show allegiance to the Gangster Disciples. The video went viral, and instantly, questions began circulating about why a privileged celebrity would try to align himself with such a dangerous group. Was he genuinely affiliated, or was he just trying to project an image to gain street credibility? One person who immediately took notice of King Combs' actions was King Yella, a legitimate member of the Gangster Disciples. In a video response, Yella expressed his confusion and concern over Christian's attempts to associate himself with the GDK, especially considering the current state of Diddy's public image and the serious allegations surrounding him. Yella made it clear that if King Combs was looking for street credibility, he was heading down a dangerous path. Yella pointed out how risky it was for someone like King Combs, who comes from money and fame, to play with fire by getting involved in a gang culture he didn't understand. The real problem here is that Gangster Disciples are not to be taken lightly. This is a gang known for its violent history, with a reach that stretches far beyond Chicago. The group has been involved in everything from to organized crime, and its members are notorious for being fiercely loyal and deadly. By aligning himself, even symbolically, with the GDK, King Combs has essentially invited trouble into his life. The Gangster Disciples have a reputation for retaliating against perceived disrespect, and by shouting out their name, Christian has now painted a target on his back. King Yella's warning to King Combs was simple: don't play games with a group like the GDK. He emphasized that these are people who take things seriously, and once you're in their sights, there's no easy way out. Yella's message wasn't just a cautionary tale. It was a reminder of the consequences of crossing a gang that has been at the center of Chicago's violent streets for years. As expected, the reactions on social media were swift and harsh. Fans and critics alike called out King Combs for his apparent lack of awareness about what it means to truly be involved in gang culture. Comments like, "Screaming GDK from your dad's $12 million mansion is a form of insanity," quickly flooded the internet. Another person added, "I'll never understand why rich kids try to act hood." The message was clear. King Combs was out of his depth, but things didn't end there. After seeing the backlash, King Combs attempted to clarify his stance, taking to Instagram to deny any affiliation with gangs. In a post, he stated, "I ain't affiliated with no gangs and I'm not a gang member." While this attempt to distance himself from the situation was meant to quell the rumors, it was too little, too late. The damage had already been done, and many felt that King Combs had only made things worse by trying to play a role he wasn't equipped for. Despite King Combs' attempt to backtrack, King Yella wasn't about to let him off the hook. In a now-deleted post, Yella sarcastically thanked King Combs for denying his gang ties, but he didn't let up on his criticism. Yella reminded Christian that pretending to be involved in street life was reckless and dangerous, especially when you come from wealth and privilege. "You live a good life, stick to it," he said, emphasizing that gang life was not where King Combs belonged. Yella even claimed that he had the power to make people renounce their false gang affiliations, and it seemed he was more than willing to use that power to show King Combs that playing with gangs was not something to take lightly. This back and forth between the two went viral, further fueling the drama. People began questioning not only King Combs' motivations, but also the role of privilege in shaping his actions. How could someone so far removed from the harsh realities of street life be so eager to claim an identity that was dangerous and foreign to him? The reality is that the consequences of associating with gangs go far beyond social media posts and diss tracks. In Chicago, gang affiliation is a serious matter. People who claim ties to gangs often find themselves caught up in violent retaliation, legal issues, and even death. The gangster disciples have a long history of criminal activity, and for someone like King Combs to claim association with them is not just a bad look. It's a risky game that could lead to real-life consequences. Recent news articles have highlighted the continuing violence tied to gang activity in Chicago, with shootings and murders being regular occurrences. While King Combs might think he can diss 50 Cent and throw up gang signs without consequences, the reality is much darker. If the GDK feels disrespected, they have a long history of retaliation, and King Combs' actions have the potential to escalate things in ways that are hard to predict. So, what's next for King Combs? Will he back off and distance himself from this reckless behavior, or will he continue down this dangerous path? The situation remains uncertain, but one thing is clear. King Combs is now facing a level of attention and danger that most people in his position would never dream of. His attempts to claim street credibility have brought him into the crosshairs of one of Chicago's most dangerous gangs, and the fallout from this could be catastrophic. As this story continues to unfold, it's important for King Combs to recognize the real consequences of his actions. Street life isn't a game, and trying to play that game from the safety of a mansion could end in disaster. What do you think? Will King Combs make it out of this mess unscathed, or has he crossed a line that he can't come back from? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you want to stay updated on all the latest celebrity gossip and drama, make sure to hit that subscribe button.